Right now at 5, campaign signs come up missing from yards in southwest Missouri.
We've got a calm and cool start to the day right now, but the winds are going to pick up and the sun will return. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, experts in Miami, Oklahoma host a car seat check day in honor of Child Passenger Safety Month.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's now Tuesday. It is the first day of October.
I know, and it's not going to feel like it.
Oh, today it will.
Will?
Only
really?
today, though.
Oh my gosh.
And then it'll stop again, and it'll feel more like June,
See,
August,
I can't even
keep
keep up.
I think the weather is what's making it
Right.
really difficult to keep track of what month it really is.
Seriously.
Because we just haven't had very many seasonable days around the area here lately. So it's but today will be very seasonable.
Okay, fantastic.
We'll be right about where
Yeah.
we should be. And then it'll be cold tonight too. It's going to feel like spooky season for one day. Let's start with a look outside. Our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. We're looking pretty good so far. The camera is fairly steady, but that will not last as winds are going to start to pick up behind this boundary that's bringing us cooler air across the area. So otherwise looking pretty good. Save from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. I've got mostly clear skies out there, and that'll be the case for us as we go through today as well. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line looking pretty good also, and we'll head over to the KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue. And, well, if you were thinking it was going to look good out there, you would be right. Future Track, take a look at those wind arrows as they start to haul across the area today. So they're doing two things. One, they're going to bring in temperatures. We're going to be about 10 degrees cooler today than where we were yesterday. And it's going to be very windy. We're talking gusts up to 30 out of the north. Temperatures this morning, not too bad. 63 in Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh. We're starting the day about 10 degrees above where we should be, but we're not going to warm up a lot from where we are right now. So we've got roughly low, mid, and upper 60s. Got a couple of upper 50s in Grove and Anderson out there this morning. As we look at kids getting on the bus this morning, they're looking about 61 degrees, sunny, north winds around 5 to 10. By the time that bus brings them home, maybe a cloud or two. And take a look at that, 74. That's not far from our average high, which, by the way, is 75, so that's not bad. But we got to contend with those winds. North 10 to 15, gusting upwards of 30. So if you are traveling on any east-west highways, keep that in mind. These winds won't start to let up until we get later into the evening out there, so the majority of today will be breezy. Again, maybe a passing cloud or two, but temperatures right where they should be, about 74, 75 degrees today. This is the only fall-like day we're going to have, but because of that, it's also going to be pretty darn chilly tonight. We'll talk about that and when the heat returns here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, authorities have filed formal charges against the man accused of setting up a hidden camera inside a girls' locker room in the McDonald County High School in Anderson, Missouri. Now, the suspect is 53-year-old Roger Copeland of Neosho. Now, the camera was discovered in the locker room on Friday. Authorities say Copeland was identified on his own camera footage. And according to law enforcement, Copeland admitted the camera was his after being brought into the sheriff's office and questioned. Now, he's charged with sexual exploitation of a minor, possession of child pornography, and invasion of privacy of a victim less than 18 years of age. A federal judge yesterday sentenced a Joplin man for stealing mail from Joplin residents as part of the conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud. Now, Aaron Blake gets 3 years and 7 months in federal prison without parole. The court also ordered Blake to pay more than $12,000 in restitution to his victims. Back in February, Blake pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit bank fraud and wire fraud, 1 count of bank fraud, and 1 count of aggravated identity theft. Blake's co-defendant, Emily Anna Lee Sturgis, pled guilty in July to conspiracy and fraud charges. Now, Sturgis and Blake stole mail from December 2022 to January 2023. The stolen mail included credit cards, debit cards, checks, cash, jewelry, and documents that contained personal identifying information. They also used the stolen credit cards to unlawfully make purchases. Sturgis currently awaits sentencing. Well, Joplin and Reddings Mill first responders were called to a fire late last night. Around 11:50, reports that a trailer at the Love's Travel stop on exit 4 along I-44 was on fire. Now, the truck was hauling a full load of Body Glove energy drinks. The driver pulled the trailer to the front of the parking lot and unhooked the trailer as the flames began to overtake the trailer. Now, the brakes are the main suspect of the cause at this time. The fire was under control in about 15 minutes, but the trailer and its load were destroyed. No one was injured. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, authorities in Springfield have been answering reports of stolen campaign signs. Now, signs from multiple yards have come up missing. One couple have reported the theft of 2 signs. For one Springfield man, the theft was only part of the issue.
I think we all should have an opportunity to have things in our yard that speak to other people. No matter, what side of the political spectrum that you're on.
Now, both Democrat and Republican supporters have reported a reoccurring need for replacement signs. Campaign sign vandalism might also be a problem in southeast Kansas. We hope to have more on that tomorrow. Well, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly moves to waive fees for child care licensing and background checks through 2025. Yesterday, the governor's office announced the state of Kansas will cover the state licensing background check as well as fingerprinting fees for child care providers. Now, fee coverage will assist new child care providers by reducing startup costs and continuing to support existing providers as they retain their licensure. Well, the State Farm Agency in Miami, Oklahoma hosted a free child seat safety check yesterday. Drivers stopped by and had their child seats checked by the experts. Organizers hope to reduce child fatalities due to car crashes, even if it's by just one.
Car crashes are one of the leading causes of death for children in the United States. So if we can help one child, that's great. If we can help more than that, that's even better. But one child being lost due to not being properly restrained or not being restrained at all is one too many.
Well, car seats were made available at the event for families in need of one. September marks Child Passenger Safety Month. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Well, Carthage meets Carl Junction on the softball diamond for the first time this season. We'll have those details. Plus, 81-year-old South Korean woman is a finalist in the Miss Universe Korea pageant. And we have a sunny and windy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
A pair of former conference opponents meet on the softball diamond for the first time this season. Carthage travels to Carl Junction, the Tigers coming off 3 straight wins. Meanwhile, the home team, Carl Junction, has won 4 of their last 6 games. Monday night softball from CJ. Each team has a good opportunity to pick up a non-conference win. In the second inning, 2 on with 1 out. Kenley Spindler flying around the outfield. Makes a diving catch. Carthage scores on the sac fly. However, still a great catch as Carthage leads 1-0. We go to the bottom of the second. Gracie Arnold gets her team on the board with a line drive RBI single. That ties up the game now to 1-1. Next batter, Maddie Olds drives this ball into the gap. That'll score Jasmine Blaney, and Olds gets herself an RBI double. CJ leads 2-1. Rally continues in the second inning. Next batter is Kenley Spindler, and she drives in a run with an RBI single. Lady Bulldogs score 4 runs to make it a 4-1 game. So we head to the third inning. Base hit up the middle for Katie Hunt, but Lexa Youngblood throws this one on the money from center field to get the out at home plate. Carthage hanging around. Final inning of the game. CJ leads 8-7. Ground ball right here. Flip to second base is in time. Lady Bulldogs hang on for the win. CJ beats Carthage 8-7. The Missouri Southern football team is now in the win column. Southern won their first game of the season last Saturday. Lions can now use that momentum moving forward. After being down by 17 points at halftime, Missouri Southern rallied back to defeat Northeastern State. The Lions were able to put together 24 unanswered points and improved to 1-4 on the season. Missouri Southern head coach Atiba Bradley spoke at the team's weekly press conference on Monday and said laying down wasn't an option.
I got to keep telling you guys, like, there's no quit in our kids. There's no laying it down is not an option. Not coming out at half and just, this one's lost. It's not something our kids would ever do and could fathom doing.
About time, that's how I felt. It felt good to win. It just meant a lot to win. You could see everyone was happy and feeling good after they won, after the big win. And so hopefully we carry that into next week, lock in at practice, and get it done.
Well, you voted and we counted, as we do every weekend following our Press Box show on Fox 14. Our Performance of the Week winner is the Parsons Vikings. The Vikings win their first game of the season after Parsons went on the road to defeat the Baxter Springs Lions by a final score of 38-7. Parsons is now 1-3 on the season as the team hosts Frontenac this Friday night. To vote on next week's Performance of the Week, just head over to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Here's a look at some scores for Monday Night Football doubleheader. The Tennessee Titans get their first win of the season as they beat the Miami Dolphins 31-12. Then the Detroit Lions defeat the Seattle Seahawks by a final score of 42-29. Still to come, the Biden administration announced a cost savings for new prescription drugs under a Medicare rebate program. Plus, it is going to be very fall-like today. Enjoy it. It's the only fall-like day. We'll go over that forecast with you when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:17 on this Tuesday, October the 1st. Spooky season officially underway, and at least right now, in the next several days, you'll get one sweater weather day. That's going to be today. I mean, it's going to be warm today, but tonight it's going to be cold. Briefly. Then it's going to be about 40 degrees warmer tomorrow from overnight lows. I'll get to all that. Let's take a look first at the future track. And unfortunately, there's still not much to show. It's going to be windy today, and our temperatures today are going to be about 10 degrees cooler than where we were yesterday. Average high is supposed to be about 75, and for the most part, we're going to be relatively close to that as we head into the afternoon hours out there. So a relatively common fall-like day. Now, our overnight lows average is the low 50s. Officially, it's 53. But we're going to be a little cooler than that, about 5-6 degrees cooler than where we're supposed to be for our overnight lows. So it's going to feel cold tonight. Then the winds are going to turn around tomorrow out of the south, and it is going to warm up rather quickly. And by the afternoon, we're going to be into the 80s. So that's why I'm saying today is a great day to enjoy the fall weather, because this is the only fall-like day in the next several days, which we'll talk about that as well in the extended forecast here in just a moment. On the future track, though, I am pressing the button. It is moving. There's just not anything happening. We could see, again, some gusty winds by Thursday out of the south, which means we're also going to be even hotter. Look at these temperatures closing in on 90 degrees out there in October. So what that's putting us upwards of 15 some odd degrees warmer than where we should be by Thursday. Take a look at the winds though. Now as we go through today, they're going to be north winds, and they're going to be gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour. And it won't be until later this evening that they'll calm down a little bit for us. And then Wednesday's not too bad in terms of winds as they begin to shift out of the south. But then we go into Thursday, and by Thursday morning we start to see those wind gusts picking up again. So we're looking at another day of 30 mile an hour, maybe even upwards of 35 mile an hour wind gusts out of the south. Hence why it's ushering in considerably warmer temperatures out there. So like I said, the future track is the most depressing thing I've seen. We need rain in the 4 states. Our drought situation is severe across a broad portion of the area, and it's got no rain. It's barely got any cloud cover on it. It just doesn't have anything that we need. And looking at some of the long range data, it's going to be a while before we see some kind of rain chance across the 4 states, which is not good news at all. We're sitting at 63 in Joplin, and we've got that north breeze at about 9 miles an hour. But again, it's going to pick up later today. Temperatures out there, it is a mixed bag. We got a couple upper 50s in Grove and Anderson, and then we have low, mid, and upper 60s out there this morning. Remember, Sedan was the cool spot all morning yesterday, and right now, Sedan is the warmest spot on this map this morning. What a difference 24 hours makes. These winds will start picking up pretty quickly through the morning hours. We'll have sunny skies out there, and those gusts again out of the north upwards of 30. So if you're traveling on any east-west highways, just keep that in mind. But take a look at how slow these temperatures warm. That boundary pushes through, and it slows the warming process despite plentiful sunshine. So we're talking upper 60s by late morning. Highs today, again, right about average. 74, maybe a couple of 76s out there, and it'll be breezy, maybe a passing cloud or two this afternoon. Then we head into this evening. Once we get 5, 6 o'clock, the winds will start to ease up a bit. In fact, they'll be calm overnight tonight. Clear skies, and with no thermal blanket, no cloud cover, we get pretty darn chilly. Upper 40s across the areas we talked about just a moment ago. Then we head into tomorrow. Yeah, all right, okay, but not bad. We can live with it. Low 80s, partly cloudy on our Wednesday. This is ridiculous. 90 by Thursday, near 90 Friday, near 90 on Saturday. That's uncalled for. 92 by Sunday, hanging on upper 80s and low 90s as we head into the next work week. None of this is October weather, unfortunately. Also, no rain chances out there either. That's a check of your forecast. As well, what it is. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. Hundreds of thousands of Medicare patients across the U.S. will be seeing lower prices on dozens of prescription drugs. Yesterday, the Biden administration announced Medicare Part B. Enrollees will pay less than 54% prescription drugs. Many of those drugs are used to treat cancer, osteoporosis, pneumonia, and other conditions. Now, the cuts are possible through a provision in the Inflation Reduction Act, making drug companies pay rebates if they raise Medicare prices faster than the rate of inflation. Now, patients will start seeing the price drops this week. Well, it's a popular trend that's getting ready to start up again today. It's the start of October, and for some, 31 days of sobriety. Experts say taking a break from alcohol, even temporarily, can improve overall health and help your gut. Mandy Gaither explains how and has ways to help you successfully stay sober.
It's fall, and you may be focused on football, pumpkins, and frightening fun. But if you also want to zero in on your health, try Sober October.
Cutting back on alcohol, even if it's for a few weeks, will help someone understand the impact alcohol is playing in their life.
Gastroenterologist Dr. Arvin Morali with Orlando Health says alcohol has a significant impact on microorganisms in a drinker's gut.
There is good bacteria and bad bacteria. Alcohol kills the good bacteria. It upsets this balance, causes issues with digestion, and it can also affect the liver.
Morali says having unbalanced levels leads to inflammation and an unhealthy gut lining, which can lead to other health problems.
Anxiety, depression, fatigue, weakness. So a lot of these symptoms are indirectly influenced by the gut.
He says taking even a short break from alcohol can restore that balance and help improve sleep, energy levels, and reduces risk of certain cancers.
Even low amounts of alcohol increases the risk of cancer.
To have a successful Sober October, Morali says to get support from family and friends. Let them know this is important to you. Turn to an alternative, whether that's a mocktail, water, or a smoothie, and find hobbies or physical activities that can help you stay engaged without the temptation of alcohol. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, one expert says temporarily halting alcohol may make a drinker want it more. So those who want to cut back may choose instead to start slowly. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got a pretty decent start to the day out there. It's going to be a little cooler, a little more fall-like. A look at that forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, lakegoers in Grove, Oklahoma took in the sights of dozens of amphibious planes.
And we've got a pretty decent start to the day out there. It's going to be a little cooler this afternoon and breezy. A look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Bourbon County residents voiced concerns over solar farms during the commissioners' meeting.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, October the 1st, first day of October, first day of the spooky season.
Yeah, I can't believe that we're already, in October, just a few months till the new year.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah.
Well, technically 3 if you want to start from today. And I want to clarify something earlier before it gets too spooky on my side.
Okay.
I am not disappointed about sunshine and warm weather.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody likes it. But it's not the weather we need right now. What we need right now is we need rain and we need fall-like temperatures.
It's time.
Look, I enjoy a nice sunny day like the rest of you, but at this point, it's not what we need. That's what I mean when I say it's disappointing.
The low 90s in October as someone who grew up in Minnesota is like jaw-dropping for me.
It's uncalled for. So I like a nice warm sunny day.
Yes.
I do not like 90s in October, and I do not like that we need so much rain and we're just not getting it. That's what I mean, before anybody gets upset. So now, let's move on and get, all sorts of jolly for our forecast this morning. Let's take a look outside like we usually do. It is from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. We're looking pretty good this morning. A couple of clouds here and there, really not much out there. Same from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. A pretty decent start to the day. We'll head south to the MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line. Looking back to the south, also looking good this morning as well. And looking pretty good back on the Kansas side. KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue. Of course, just south of Pittsburgh, looking pretty good this morning. I've been keeping an eye on the fog tracker. We're not dealing with really any fog out there this morning. We had some yesterday, but humidity levels are dropping, moisture levels are dropping. Fire danger is going to be something to keep in mind as we head through today, because not only will you have those very gusty north winds, we're also going to have very dry air moving into place as well. So really, no outdoor burning would be recommended. And that's really about it. There's a stray cloud or two here or there as we head into the afternoon, but outside of that, it's a sunny day, and it's a fairly fall-like day, actually. It will be. Now, this morning, 63 Joplin, 65 Pittsburgh. We're about 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. Some of us, like Sedan, for example, almost 15 degrees warmer than where we're supposed to be out there. As you can see, we got low, mid, and upper 60s. But these temperatures, with this boundary pushing through and those gusty north winds, are not really going to move much more from where they are now. So, 61, sunny, north breeze 5 to 10 when the kids get on the bus, but then very quickly this morning, north winds will start to pick up 10 to 15, gusts upwards of 30, maybe a cloud or two this afternoon, and 74, and that's our high. Average is 75. So we're going to be right about where we should be, but again, it's a slow warm-up to that point. Well, those sunny skies, the winds will start to taper off later this evening out there, and we'll have calm winds overnight tonight. We're going to talk more about your forecast and that heat that we were just discussing here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Bourbon County Commissioners held a Q&A session yesterday afternoon to address community concerns about potential solar projects that could move into the county. Now, economic studies show solar farms would create hundreds of temporary construction jobs and bring in tens of millions in property tax payments during the life of the project. There are several concerns, though. For one, the potential fire hazard.
Bugs me the most as far as they can't figure out when to put these things out or how to put these out. And if they're struggling in big towns like Kansas City, Olathe, and they're bringing in 4 major fire departments to put these down, and it still takes 4 days, 3 days, whatever it is, and they're still smoldering. We're in a rural area.
Yeah, residents also voiced concerns about the initial investment cost and the potential for fumes or other pollution if the panels are too close to their home. Well, a 250-ton piece of Southeast Kansas mining history will soon have a new home. Originally used to dig coal in Cherokee County, page 618 walking drag line will take up a residence in the Miners Hall Museum. Now, the move was made possible by Tilson and Sons House Moving of Carthage. They used custom pieces of steel to move the equipment the 30-odd miles. Now today, only the huge boom was moved. To date, the Wilkinson has now donated 3 major pieces of Kansas mining equipment to area museums.
I think it's important to preserve our mining history in our area, and we have a steam shovel that's located at the Crawford County Museum. We have a Page 202 dragline. It's that big Brutus that we've donated. And this one going to the museum in Franklin. This kind of completes the whole gamut of mining equipment that our family used over the last 80 years.
The dragline was purchased in 1953 by the Wilkinson Coal Company. Well, residents of Grove gathered to see planes land on the water yesterday. Amphibious planes from all over the U.S. flew into the lake at Wolf Creek Park. Now, the pilot stopped in Grove to grab a bite to eat at the food trucks by the lake. The Grove Convention and Tourism Bureau director says he was amazed at the turnout.
This event right here kind of blows my mind as how it was received in our community. This was one of our biggest Facebook posts that we've ever done. Just showed there's some planes that's going to land on the water, and had no idea that this would actually have a turnout.
Now, organizers hope to start doing this annually after seeing how many people came out to watch the planes. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The 2 stuck NASA astronauts welcome the SpaceX capsule that will finally bring them back to Earth. Plus, Israel is countering threats from nearly every direction. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. Age isn't a limit for this 81-year-old who was one of the finalists for the Miss Universe Korea pageant. Now, Choi Soon-hwa was one of 32 participants in the beauty pageant, and she's in because an age restriction was recently lifted from the competition. Now, unlike most models, she started modeling at 72, saying she hoped Miss Universe would be her international debut. Now, the finale for Miss Universe will take place in Mexico this November. But you won't see Choi on the finalist stage. She didn't win the South Korea competition, but she was awarded as the best dressed. The International Space Station gets a relief crew, and a new ride sent its way to bring back 2 stuck astronauts. Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, 2 astronauts, vacationed a little longer than planned because a problematic Boeing Starliner capsule couldn't return them to Earth. They now have their ride back thanks to SpaceX. Now, SpaceX sent up its rescue mission Saturday, and the Dragon capsule docked in darkness Sunday at the station. The Dragon came with 2 empty extra seats for Wilmore and Williams. The ISS crew answered the doorbell for NASA arrivers Nick Hogg and the Russian Space Agency's Alexander Gorbanov. A February ride back home on the Dragon will bring the crews home, and that makes Wilmore's and Williams's total time in space at about 8 months. Well, Israel is countering threats from nearly every direction. Yemen's Houthi rebels say they will escalate military operations in response to attacks. Israeli airstrikes targeted Gaza yesterday as troops in the north entered Lebanon, ahead of what officials say will become a larger ground operation. Now, Israel continues to target Beirut days after killing Hezbollah's leader. U.S. officials say his death is a good thing for the region. Mike Tobin is in Haifa, Israel.
With at least 2 brigades of reservists, an elite paratrooper brigade with a complement of tanks and armor, Israel's defense minister told troops in the north stopping the rocket fire and returning Israelis safely to their homes would require their service and sacrifice.
We will employ all the capabilities at our disposal, and if someone on the other side did not understand what those capabilities entail, we mean all capabilities, and you are part of this effort.
The IDF has been able to strike targets at will in the south of Lebanon and has expanded the strikes into Beirut, killing operatives with Hamas and the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. All of that following the assassination of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and the top of the Hezbollah command structure. Still, the acting successor to Hassan Nasrallah said Hezbollah fighters are ready for IDF ground forces.
If the Israelis decide to enter by land, the resistance forces are ready for ground engagement.
Israel has had a series of military successes, including Sunday's airstrikes into parts of Houthi-controlled Yemen, hinting the IDF could do the same thing to Iran. As Israel takes the war into a new phase, Israel does it in defiance of the U.S. president.
And I'm comfortable with them stopping. We should have a ceasefire now. Thank you.
Also tonight, new airstrikes into Dahya, the same Beirut suburb where Hassan Nasrallah was killed. Warnings went in ahead of time. U.S. sources say this will not be as extensive or as long as the 2006 war into Lebanon. It is intended to be a limited incursion aimed at specific Hezbollah infrastructure.
And that's a look at World Watch. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:44, coming up on 5:45 now on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start with the future track. Not a lot to show, but we will go over it and what we're expecting over the next couple of days. So we'll have those gusty north winds out there. That's why these wind arrows are moving so quickly. We're also going to have temperatures about 10 degrees cooler than where we were yesterday and about right where they should be for this time of year. So even though this morning we're 10 degrees above normal, thanks to this boundary that rolled through in these north winds, our temperature climb will be very slow. We'll go over the hourly forecast with you in a moment. So here we go into the afternoon. If you look, you'll see a stray cloud or two by the afternoon. Gusty winds will start to ease up by about 5, 6 o'clock across the area, and then they'll go almost calm overnight tonight. And that's going to allow us to get pretty darn chilly. We should be in the low 50s, and we're going to be below that. Not significantly so for most of us, but still, compared to what we've seen lately, it's going to feel cold. That's sweater weather. This is fall weather. That's how it's supposed to be for October. Unfortunately, it does not last. As we head into Wednesday, winds will begin to kick out of the south, and that's going to usher in, you guessed it, warmer air, and that's going to push those temperatures back above normal by, say 5, 6, 7 degrees out there. So again, not a significant bump, but nonetheless, not where we should be for this time of year. When we go into Thursday, winds are going to start to increase out of the south, which is going to usher in even warmer air for us, and we're talking temperatures by Thursday heading around 90 degrees. So we're talking at that point, we're upwards of 15 degrees above where we should be for this time of year by Thursday. And this time it'll be gusty south winds bringing in that warm air. Now there's another thing with this boundary that I want to go over real quick is the fact that it is also bringing in very dry air. We are talking humidity values 30% or less. So outdoor burning, absolutely not recommended. We really haven't had a lot of rain. That's why we have severe drought status across a good portion of the area. So that combined with the gusty winds and the very dry air blowing in, you don't want to do any outdoor burning. Winds today, on average, should gust about 30. The gust tracker suggesting we might see some a bit above that. But either way you paint it, if you're driving on any east-west highways today, do keep that in mind. Again, later this evening, winds ease up. Not too bad on Wednesday. And then by Thursday, they shift out of the south and we're right back to some of those winds gusting upwards of 30, 35 miles an hour out there. So do keep that in mind for Thursday. Quick look at temperatures, 63 in Joplin. Wind for now is north at 9, but in the next couple of hours, it's going to start to really pick up out there. Across the area, Sedan, you were the cool spot all morning yesterday. You are now the warm spot at 68 degrees. The rest of us low, mid, and upper 60s, but these temperatures aren't going to move much. It's going to be a slow warm-up. The winds start kicking in by 7, 8 o'clock, and we'll have sunny skies, but Look at this. It is a very slow climb to about 68 by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today about average, right around the mid-70s for us, and maybe a cloud or two this afternoon. Winds ease up this evening. Clear skies overnight tonight, and cool chilly as we mentioned, back into the mid to upper 40s. Low 80s tomorrow, 90 Thursday, pushing near 90 Friday and Saturday, low 90s. Sunday, maybe even Monday, and mid to upper 80s as we head into the next work week as well. So unfortunately staying dry and staying quite warm as well. That's checking your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
Well, entertainment news now. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
The original plastics are back. The 2014 comedy Mean Girls is returning to theaters for its 20th anniversary. You can try once again to make fetch happen on Thursday, October 3rd, Mean Girls Day, and Sunday, October 6th. Head to fathomevents.com for locations and showtimes.
We're just not ready. Doesn't matter that we're ready. It matters that it's 11:30. That's when we go on.
A strong start for Saturday Night. The film about the first ever episode of Saturday Night Live made $265,000 in just 5 theaters. That's $53,000 per theater, the second best average of the year behind Kinds of Kindness. Saturday Night opens in additional theaters Friday and in wide release October 11th. A unique Las Vegas residency is extending its run. Love and Laughter features singer Toni Braxton and comedian Cedric the Entertainer. It's playing select weekends at the Chelsea inside the Cosmopolitan, and more shows are being added after the first run sold out. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, a runner with legs of steel and the eye of the tiger accused a movie-famous location going the distance to celebrate his love for his brother. Jeremy Roth has today's. Take a look at this.
Take a look at a resolute runner who spent nearly 2 straight days tackling the iconic Rocky steps in the city of brotherly love, and all for the love of his brother. James Resnick set out on this tireless and tiring effort a year ago and spent months in training to conquer 1,000 laps on the steps outside Philadelphia's Museum of Art, the ones made famous in the film Rocky. At 144 steps per lap, that's 144,000 steps in all. Resnick's lofty, leggy goal was all to honor his brother Sammy, who was left paralyzed by a car accident 22 years ago and now lives in a full-time care facility. As Resnick completed his 40-hour climbing crusade, Sammy was right there waiting to greet his bro, who proved he not only has the eye of the tiger and legs of steel, but a heart of gold as well. Now to another super inspirational troopa, Poopa Scoopa Luca. That's the nickname of this Rhode Island 6-year-old whose love of animals inspired him to start his own business, being on duty for his pet-owning neighbors.
People hate picking up dog poop.
Luca's mom, an animal rescue worker, says her son has helped her help countless animals.
Volunteering is one of our core values in life.
But he recently bonded with a shelter cat and wanted to adopt it.
He asked me, how can I raise money to adopt this kitten?
And so, Poopa Scoopa Luca's biz was born. At $15 a pop, job, he soon had enough scratch to bring home Pebbles the kitten. And as for the work, it's a dirty job, but Luca says he doesn't mind it.
It's fun. I love cleaning. It's like one of my favorite things.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Definitely not something that I could do, but it's great to see what he has a passion for. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, former President Jimmy Carter is making history. Carter turns 100 years old today, becoming the first president in U.S. history to hit the centennial mark. And a number of events to celebrate are in the works. That includes a flyover of military jets over his hometown of Plains, Georgia, where a naturalization ceremony and concert will also be held. Now, according to family members, Carter's birthday wish is to vote in the presidential election. Well, October is here and the days are cooling off, and it's time for you to warm up with some baking. A plate of fresh baked cookies, because today is National Homemade Cookies Day. Now, it's observed every year on October 1st, and you can mark the day by baking your cookie of choice, which could be chocolate chip, sugar, peanut butter, or oatmeal raisin. Now, it doesn't matter which, just bake away and enjoy.
I feel so bad because it is not cooling off in the slightest, and you will not need to warm up with baking. Maybe today, I guess, but either way, cookies are good. It doesn't matter if it's hot or cold. Cookies are a good deal, and you can enjoy them today or tomorrow or any day. We'll have breezy conditions, north winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Very slow warm-up behind this boundary. Sunny skies, upper 60s by 11. Highs about where they should be today, right around the mid-70s, with maybe a passing cloud or two this afternoon. We head into the evening. We will have clear skies later this evening. Winds will start to calm down and be pretty darn chilly. Baking tonight is highly recommended as we'll go back into the mid to upper 40s, so we'll be below normal, but it doesn't last. We're back above normal tomorrow, low 80s, 90 by Thursday. We're looking at upper 80s and low 90s as we head into the weekend and the next work week. Sunny skies. If you've got something you need to get done, maybe some fall yard work, I guess now's the time to probably do it. I got to clean the gutters. Maybe you can get out and do that. I've just got to muster up getting up on the roof to clean the gutters. I'll get to it, and maybe you can get some of that work too. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.